Hello dear friends, this is Dr. Diptesh Patel and I'll be teaching you jet propulsion and aircraft engineering. So welcome back to the online video lecture series. Here in this session I'm going to cover lecture 12 of principles of jet propulsions. In this lecture we are going to see another numericals, let's say numerical number 6. So what does that says? That says an aircraft using a simple turbojet engine that flies at Mach 0.8. So the Mach number is given, that is 0.8, where the ambient pressure and temperature, these two values or conditions are given to us. So here the temperature is 2 to 3.3 Kelvin and the ambient temperature or the inlet temperature pressure is 0.265 bar. The compressor pressure ratio is 8. So the pressure difference at the inlet and outlet of the compressions, that is 8. The turbine inlet temperature is 1200 Kelvin. So this is the highest temperature that the aircraft or the jet engine can achieve, and that is 1200 Kelvin. Then after, the different efficiencies are given to us. So the isentropic efficiency of the compressor is 0.87 or 87 percentage. The efficiency of turbine is 0.90 or 90 percentage. The intake efficiency or the diffuser efficiency, that is 0.93 or 93 percentage. Nozzle efficiency 0.95 or the 95 percentage, and mechanical efficiency of the jet engine, that is 0.99 or the 99 percentage. Furthermore, the combustion chamber efficiency, that is also given 0.98 percentage. Here the pressure loss in the combustion chamber is 4 percentage, since because of the friction the certain amount of the pressure loss takes place, and that would be 4 percentage of the compressor delivery pressure. So these are the different values which were given to us, and on the basis of that we need to calculate the thrust and specific fuel consumptions. So these are the two different value or the two different finding that we need to do to solve this numerical. Here the specific fuel consumption, that is the amount of fuel that is need to generate the thrust in particular unit time, right? So let's start with the TS diagram. As we have discussed earlier, every time when you need to solve an examples or the numerical, you have to prepare the TS diagram. That would help you to make understand the exam or examples more clearly. So this is the TS diagram of the jet engine. You can see 1 to 2 or A to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5 and 5 to 7. So here A to 2 is a diffuser, that is takes place in diffuser. 2 to 3 is a pressure rise in compressor. Then 3 to 4, that is the combustion takes place in combustion chamber. 4 to 5, that is the expansion in turbine, and 5 to 7 is the expansion in nozzles. So continuous line represent the ideal processes, while the dotted line, that is the actual processes, right? So let's start with the solution. The first thing is that since we have been given a Mach number that was 0.8, so on the basis of Mach number I should be able to find out the flight velocity, and that is V is equal to 239.6 meter per second. So that is the flight speed. Then let's move forward to find out the various values or the parameters throughout the whole process. So let's begin with the stagnation temperature and pressure at the intake exit. So first thing is that T02, TO2, that is the stagnation pressure at point 2. So that is equal to TA plus V square divided by 2Cp. Now here I am going to put the values here. So the inlet temperature that was given 2 to 3.3, then V that we have just found out 239.6 square divided by 2Cp, which is equal to 2 into 1005. On the basis of that we will be able to get out the outlet temperature of the diffuser and that is 251.9 Kelvin. Similarly, let's find out the pressure ratio from the inlet of diffuser and outlet of the diffuser. So PO2 divided by PA, which is equal to, since the diffuser efficiency is given to us, we are going to use this formula, 1 plus eta d inside the bracket T02 divided by Ta minus 1 raised to gamma upon gamma minus 1. So after going through or putting the values, we should be able to find out the pressure ratio, that is 1.482, and on the basis of that I would be able to get the PO2 pressure at the outlet of the diffuser, which is equal to 0.393 bar. Now let's move further. The compressor exit conditions that we need to find out here in the next step. So here, for the compressor exit conditions, we have to use the formula PO3, which is the outlet of the compressor, that is equal to pi c PO2. Now the pressure ratio was given to us, and that was 8. So I'm going to use that pressure ratio and outlet of the the outlet of the diffuser pressure. So on the basis of that, I should get the PO3, that is equal to 3.144 bar. Now let's find out the temperature at the outlet of the compressor. So TO3 is equal to TO2 inside the bracket 1 upon eta combustion chamber. So that efficiency is given to us. So 1 upon eta C inside the bracket pi C raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma minus 1 bracket complete plus 1 another bracket complete. So here we need to put the values in that equations. So here T02, that is 251.9 inside the bracket 1 upon 0.87 inside the bracket 8 raised to 1.4 minus 1 divided by 1.4 minus 1 plus 1, and after going through the calculations I should get TO3 is equal to 486.8 Kelvin. So that is the temperature at the outlet of the compressor. Now move forward a little bit. Enthalpies. Here we are going to use the equations for the enthalpy for the combustion chamber. So enthalpy at point 4 at the outlet of the combustion chamber, PO4, that is equal to, sorry, HO4, that is equal to HO3 plus combustion chamber efficiency eta B into F into Q dot F. So here these values are given to us, right? The few consumptions that we need to find out, QF, that is the pressure reductions in the combustion chamber. So here I am going to little bit expand that equations of the enthalpy, and that would become CPG, right, specific heat of gas, TO4 is equal to CPA, specific heat of air, TO3 plus eta B F into Q dot F. So let's modify the equations, and after going through these I should be able to get the values of F, which is equal to CPG divided by TO4 divided by CPA into TO3 minus 1 upon eta B Q dot F divided by CPA TO3 minus CPG TO4 divided by CPA TO3. So after going through the values, let's substitute the values and should be able to get F is equal to 0.0198. Right. Similarly, let's find out the pressure at the outlet of the combustion chamber, and that is PO4, that is equal to pi B PO3. So that is the pressure reduction, 0.96 into 3.144, and here we get the values of pressure at the outlet of the combustion chamber, and that is equal to 3.018 bar. So this is the pressure at the exit of the combustion chamber. Now let's move forward to the next junctions in the TS diagram. If you have look at the sections of the turbine. So since we know that the turbine work which is generate the power, and that's supposed to be equal to the compressor work. So on the basis of that I should be able to write down that the work that is being generated into the turbine, that is equal to the work which is consumed in compressor. So W turbine is equal to W compressor. Now after going through the expansion I should be able to write down eta M inside the bracket M dot plus M dot F into CPG T04 minus T05 is equal to M dot CPA inside the bracket T03 minus TO2, right. So just done the expansions of the work done which is takes place in turbine and the compressor, and then after I should be able to, since I got the all of these value, So I should be able to get TO5, which is equal to CPG TO4 minus CPA inside the bracket TO3 minus TO2 divided by eta m 1 plus F. So just put the values here. 1147 into 1200 minus 1005 inside the bracket 486.8 minus 251.9 divided by 0.99 inside the bracket 1 plus 0.0198, and on the basis of that I get the TO5, and that is 992.3 Kelvin. Similarly, let's find out the pressure at the outlet of the turbine, PO5, and which is equal to PO4 inside the bracket 1 minus 1 upon eta T inside the bracket 1 minus TO5 divided by TO4 raised to gamma upon gamma minus 1. Let's put the values, and I should be able to get the values of PO5, and which is equal to 1.284 bar. So that is the pressure at the outlet of the turbine. Then after, nozzle. The last section is a nozzle. So here, before we do the calculation of nozzle, we need to check out whether the nozzle is choking or not. So for that, I'm going to find out the couple of pressure ratio. So first thing is that the nozzle pressure ratio, PO5 divided by PA. So we got both of them, 1.284 divided by 0.265, and on the basis of that the pressure ratio would be 4.845. Now then after, let's find out the critical pressure ratio. So PO5 divided by PC, which is equal to 1 upon 1 minus 1 upon eta n, which is the efficiency of nozzle, inside the bracket gamma minus 1 upon gamma plus 1 raised to gamma upon gamma minus 1. Let's put the values, which is equal to 1 upon 1 minus 1.0.95 inside the bracket 1.33 minus 1 divided by 1.33 plus 1 raised to 1.33 divided by 1.33 minus 1, and that is 1.914. So since the pressure ratio or nozzle pressure ratio is higher than the critical pressure ratio, I should be able to say that nozzle is choking. Right? Now, if the nozzle exit conditions are fixed by the critical parameter, I would get the outlet conditions of the nozzles, and that is T7, which is equal to TC, which is equal to 2 upon gamma plus 1 into P05, which is 250.7 Kelvin. Then P7, which is equal to PC, that is equal to PO5 inside the bracket 1 upon PO5 divided by PC, and that would be 0.671 bar. Now let's find out the density at the outlet of the nozzles. So rho 7, that is equal to P7 divided by RT7, and therefore the density at the outlet of the nozzle would be 0.275 kilogram per meter cube. Similarly, VEX, that is equal to under root of gamma RT7, and that is 570.5 meter per second. So that is the velocity of the sound. Then after, the ratio of A to M, that can also be written as 1 upon rho 7 VEX, and therefore that ratio would be 0.006374 meter square second per kilogram. And then after, we will calculate the specific thrust. So here the specific thrust is Fn, which is equal to 1 plus F in another bracket Vex minus V plus Ae upon M in another bracket Pc minus Pa. Now let's put the values in these equations, and on the basis of that I should be able to get the specific thrust, which is equal to 596.25 Newton second per kilogram. And last thing that we need to find out is the specific fuel consumptions. So specific fuel consumption is equal to the fuel consumptions divided by specific thrust. So F divided by capital Fn, and therefore 0.0198 divided by 596.25, and once you do the calculation you should get the specific thrust, that is equal to 3.32 into 10 raised to minus 5 kilogram per second Newton. So that is the specific fuel consumption per unit thrust time. Okay, so this is all at the moment. If you have any doubt, you can write down in the comment box. Thank you very much.